what we're about to do tonight. So, mā mua ka kitea muri, mā muri ka ora amua. So those who lead give sight to those who follow, and those who follow give life to those who lead. So with that whakatauki, the reason why it ties in perfectly to the kaupapa tonight, it's a common thread amongst our leadership council is know me before you lead me. We often talk about this like every Friday. You may think we're just sitting there sipping coffee. We're not, we're literally just diving deep into how we can support you guys better. There's actually no coffee, there's just lollies. Do we know why they get out of bed every morning? Do we know if they find a sense of fulfillment when they get home from mahi each day? You know why they chose Future Focus. So lots of question marks around that. And so with our strategy pyramid, I think everybody should have seen it by now. And at the top of that strategy pyramid, at the core of it is a place to belong. And when I think of a place to belong, my mind drifts to whose responsibility is it to ensure the belonging is being felt. You know, is it, who does that responsibility sit with? And that kōrero has led me to here today. And I believe that responsibility sits with us all as individuals and as a team and as one whānau, and a path that you know you belong to. So that's just a bit of a kōrero as to why we're here. You might be thinking, what the fuck does this have to do with ECE? I promise you it ties in so beautifully, and I hope you walk away tonight with something from it. I know you will, I hope you will, but I do also know you will as well. Finding your why came from this book, so Simon Sinek. So I haven't just plucked this out of thin air. I actually read this book 12 days ago, or began reading this book, and I was just absolutely falling over it. And if anybody knows Ray well, you don't tell him anything because he's literally going to get you to action it tomorrow. So if happiness comes from what we do, fulfillment comes from why we do it. Okay, so just read that again. Happiness comes from what we do. Fulfillment comes from why we do it. Turn home from mahi today feeling a sense of fulfillment. Be honest. Privilege. Again, fulfillment is a right and not a privilege. Every single one of us is entitled to feel fulfilled by the work we do, to wake up feeling inspired to go to work, to feel safe when we're there, and to return home with a sense that we've contributed to something larger than ourselves. In my life, I've spent thinking whoever loves what they do, they're bloody lucky to have found that. But this will hopefully get you to the core of why you're here and why you do it. And even if this is what you do, if this is what you want to do, if this is what's going to bring you fulfillment, but we can feel fulfilled at the end of the day by the work that we do, knowing that we're a part of a bigger picture, or something bigger than ourselves, to listen, to share, to tautoko, to grow. If you've come here tonight knowing you find some sort of fulfillment, happiness in your mahi, but you've never really reflected on the parts that have brought you those feelings, or you even know how to extend on that. How lucky are you to be able to sit here tonight to dig deeper? So you may have absolutely no clue. You may have been in this line of mahi because you're good at it, or it fits in with your lifestyle, maybe being a mum or whatnot. That's all you know, it's all you've ever done, teaching. Or like me, I just somehow ended up here. Turns out that actually wasn't the case. Reflecting on my career, let alone my whole life, is something I've never ever done. And put your hands up if you have reflected, sat down and honestly reflected on your life, your whole entire life, including your career. It's not something I've done, but good on you guys. For me, and it was my why. I never knew what I was passionate about. I think I did. The only thing I thought I was passionate about was training, and that's all I've ever aspired to do in the growth space, was being growing and training. I've done bodybuilding, I've done boxing, I've done like a blind man looking to find the bloody lottery. So I can say now, but now I can now truly hand on heart say I love what I do, and I've loved what I've done here prior to finding my why, but this really helped reaffirm to me that I am I am exactly where I need to be. So this book is the gun that fires at the beginning of the race. The bang fills you with the excitement and energy as you set off, but it is the lessons you will learn as you run the race, as you learn to live your why, that will inspire you and show you what you're capable of. And remember the most important lesson, the goal is not simply for you to cross the finish line, but to see how many people you can inspire to run with you.
Rewatching it, you know, Auntie and I and Lauren and Courtney and Sam, we all watched it again together. It just makes it very clear to me that the most successful people I have had a chance to rub shoulders with have a very strong why.
Okay, so just be prepared for that. I think you kind of, if you've dived into this a bit, you'll know. Open mind and open heart, which I do know you guys all have, so I don't have to worry about that too much. And the ones that really speak to your heart and so two, I don't know, to propel others forward so that they can make their mark on the world. So making their mark on the world is the impact of the contribution. Then I've filtered it down, and I think I'm almost there. But even then, that's been like, you know, a work in progress. So you might not even walk away with it, but it's something to think about and constantly work on. We always say, no here koe, like, where are you from? And that allows us to make those connections, those links straight away when we meet somebody. This is like that, but a bit deeper tonight. This is us saying, ko wai koe, who are you? Okay, so we really want to get to the bones of that, because I really believe if that is how we create a place to belong, is by knowing you and ensuring that we know you to belong here, and you know us as well. So
single organization on the planet, even our own careers, always function on these same three levels. You know, what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. Every single organization on the planet knows what they do. It's the products you sell, it's the services you offer. Some can articulate how they're different or how they stand out from the crowd, but very, very few people or organizations can articulate why they do what they do. It's not about money or market share. Those are results. Apple doesn't start by talking about what they do. They start by talking about what they believe. If Apple spoke like anybody else, they'd start with what they do. We make great computers. How do they do it? They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Right? But they start with why. Everything we do, they say, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one?
For tonight, because I am obviously very new at the batch still, but having the opportunity to have some time with these two amazing wahine and diving into some stories and kind of just connecting with some similarities that I probably I didn't know were there, and just like being part of that process and unpacking it has been really special for me tonight. So thank you. Yeah. There's lots of like I just feel connected in so many different ways that, you know, when you meet someone and you feel connected to them but you don't know why, I'm starting to understand why we're in this journey together. Yeah.
Awesome. We have a deep history, but sharing some of the vulnerability around some of our moments, both as a marriage, but also as individuals. You know, like my first piece was about me as a kid and becoming a teenage dad, and the kind of agony I went through. And it's crazy how quickly the memories, you know, bring up. I'm 41, so it was, you know, 20. I can't do the maths, whatever it is. 24 years. But how quickly Courtney and I respond to each other's pain, and then how quickly we can help each other see the silver lining. Yeah. You want to say anything about it?
No, yeah. I'm in this phase for me where I do cry a lot. And it's cool, like it is really cool for me, just figuring it out. Like I haven't cried a lot in my time.
I used to joke that I'd worry about her going out in the sun because her heart would melt.
I never.
Yeah, she was very cold, like shut off ice queen.
And I opened the store.
Ice cream.
I was, but I opened the store in like 8 months ago, And so it's sort of, I'm becoming more comfortable with it, and yeah, but it happens all the time. So it's a bit of a struggle, but I am going through this process of understanding what's happening and those feelings, and eventually I assume that it will stop. But if it doesn't, that's okay. Like, I'm actually okay with it now. I'm really okay with it now. Yeah, I don't like the way it looks, but there's not much you can do about it.
I think it's the, you know, for Courtney and I, people, for Courtney and I, like, we've had our rough spots in our marriage, and I, like I was just saying in the room before, like, you know, in our early years, I was not a nice person. I had some demons, and just feeling acceptance, because my why is all around inspiring potential into action, and Courtney's been that for me. Where I've let that horrible voice tell me that I'm not good enough, or that I fucked up, you know. Just having someone in my life that's that hasn't reacted. So someone in my life that loves me, that hasn't reacted in a tone of deep disappointment, has led me to where I am today, and I'm just really grateful for it, and I think she's helped fulfill why we're sitting in a room full of people that I see we can build into being world-class leaders. And I make no mistakes about, Courtney and I both make no mistakes. We say world-class and we fucking mean it. So yeah, it was a nice, and I appreciate it, because it's a really nice journey for even Courtney and I to sit there and cry in a room about some horrible things and some great things. Yeah.
There's no shame. We carry no shame with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important part in this journey, is that we know there's no judgment here. And if there is judgment, then potentially this isn't the place for you. But we know that we're safe. So.
And I think why we're so proud of this is because I said, like, the most beautiful moment that nothing could ever succeed is my children coming out of Courtney and being into this world, like, because I never saw that with Cortez and all that, but you know, like, having them come in. But Future Focus is something born out of love between Courtney and I. You know, our two babies come into the world. Even watching Courtney hemorrhage and me being terrified. Man, like, Future Focus is a product born out of Courtney and I's love. So, and I've only realised this when I've gone around listening to people talk, that this is why we're so proud of it, and this is why we're doing really well with it, and this is why we argue about it, and this is why we invest in it. It's because it's almost a child. Yeah. So thank you, babe. Thanks, Lindsay. I'm putting a lot of pieces in place in terms of, I would love to see not just your own centre leaders, but other centre leaders get round and talk. In fact, I'm trying to break down that word centre leader. I don't like tying up our real brilliant people into one spot, and you know, it's even a concern of mine tying all you guys up in one spot. I think that's something we can try to really disrupt. We do truly believe that if we're going to develop you professionally, we do have to develop you personally. I really believe in that, you've all got Courtney and I's number. You can always ring if it means I get to come in and sit down and chat to you. We're really keen. But ideally, obviously, it's going to be focused on trying to dial in your why. Really trying to dial in your why. Does anyone have their why? Did they get to that point?
We're incredible if you did.
So
I wrote one professional, but it was a professional one, and then Lawrence challenged that. So
cool.
And then my why for my mahi, and why I've always done what I
to impact positively each day on our kaiako, team, tamariki and whānau, so that I create a safe place for all to thrive, which is probably like in my life in general, like I'm being friendly,
Yeah.
like I want you to be doing well, all of us to be doing well. I don't care what centre we're at, or if you're out on the street I'm going to say hi, like I'm pretty friendly, I guess. I care deeply about
Yeah.
What would you think?
So basically, we looked at what we wanted to achieve in 6 to 12 months. Because Lauren's trying to fight that she's a person in a rush. Which is Courtney and I. All I'm challenging her on here is, why do you fight that when you could go so far, so fast with us?
Be working more in my own business and doing maybe more mentoring role in Future Focus. So doing more for the love, because our business needs to grow.
Mine was to own and like operate my own culture development company. So really diving into that.
Was to own my own centre, but I don't know if it is that anymore. And like for Future Focus to be some type of like, this is obviously 5 years away, so I need to develop in that time some type of like cultural, not workplace culture, but Māori culture.
Yes.
No.
I think my passion for had passed in psychology and supporting vulnerable whānau in some way. But I haven't really knocked that out, but that's a real area of passion for me.
Mine would be involved within a community hub for our families.
That's right, yes, yeah, that was a big.
Focus flourish, but also actively participate in more charity based.
And you said about
And the
kids.
kids as well.
Yeah, and support our children.
Oh, yeah.
But we're committed to a decade in Papamoa. But we've got to grow people. That's the thing. Like, I say to people 50 centres, but actually that's because that's a tangible thing that people can go, oh, okay. But actually there's way more behind that. We need to grow 50 leaders, probably 150 Kaimahi, and keep them, which is hard in that scenario if people grow. You know, we've got to work hard with teams of people. And my real fight is to keep this. This is what I want to keep. This is the key. You know, in my 5 to 10, I'm hoping to do 5 to 10. In 5 to 10 years, we've changed the view on the sector, but I want to do that now. So I'm fighting hard for that. And that's why what we're doing in this space is just so critical. Let's start Papamoa. Let's convince all these people around here, and then we can take it somewhere else. But until we start achieving that here, where we're not just seen as babysitters, but actually full-fledged teachers that are changing the lives of families and children, you know, that's the fight that I'm in right now. So it is the 6-month goal, it is the 2 to 3 year goal, it is the 5 to 10 year goal, it is the forever goal.